Does he start, Craig?
I think he does, but I think he's definitely drinking in the last chance saloon, or he's very close to it. Big star or not, he's not playing well enough. He's not pulling his weight, and they need to win games because, you know, Arsenal are in great form. If they win again at the weekend, and Liverpool drop more points, then that gap increases, and it's very difficult to bridge that. And I think the Mo Salah situation with his form, which seems to be the big talking point for us and in England and at the press conferences, is maybe stopping some of the journalists saying to Arne Slot, what about your team selection? Why is Ekitike on the bench when he's been your best player and Alexander Isak plays? Now that may change at the weekend because Alexander Isak finished or came off in the Champions League game with a groin injury, so that decision may be made for him. But he's got that wrong. He didn't introduce Florian Wirtz in the Manchester derby when that was where the space was. I think he got that wrong. So maybe the Mo Salah isn't playing well. This is all Liverpool's problems. Once he's back scoring goals, everything will be hunky-dory. It's not quite the case because the manager has struggled, I think, to put Liverpool's best team on the pitch to get the results. Now, he thinks he's putting the best team on. Clearly, every manager does. But I don't think he has. And if I was Hugo Ekitike, having started the way I have for Liverpool at a new club from the Community Shield onwards, I would be peeved. What did Alexander Isak cost? 100 million, 150 million? I don't care. He was the guy with the jersey. He was the guy scoring goals. He was the guy who was the biggest threat. And then their two of their biggest games, Chelsea away and Manchester United at home, he left him out. So it's not just Mo Salah, I think, here. It's the problem with the manager. But of course, if Mo Salah has another stinker, if he plays, and Liverpool drop points, that's where the headlines will go. And it's maybe taking a little bit of heat, or certainly questions, away from Arne Slot's team selection.
No, I agree. Listen, I think Ekitike starts. No question. He's been
because of the injury.
Or Ekitike starts because he's the best attacking player for Liverpool this season.
But he hasn't.
Agreed. Well, I mean, moving forward, in my opinion, Ekitike has to start. He has been, without question, Liverpool's best attacking threat all season long. Now, the question then becomes, does Arne Slot play 3, play 2, or do something that we haven't seen him do for some time, just play the one up front? And that's where, well, both Alexander Isak and Mo Salah have not played well. So to Craig's point about Mo Salah maybe drinking in last chance saloon, if you had a viable contender, you could see that. But given Isak's own struggles, it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. And it really just comes down to Mo Salah's age and Alexander Isak's cost. And which way does Arne Slot go as a result? Now, again, we've had this conversation about Mo Salah time and time again in Liverpool, going through lean spells, and then all of a sudden he lights the league alight. So you want to feel that it happens again. That time will come where it doesn't. But as of right now, you're still backing Mo Salah to do Mo Salah things.
In all fairness to him, though, I think there's no doubt about it. Some of the threat has been negated on that right-hand side by the fact that Alexander Arnold has gone to Real Madrid. When you have such an attacking player with the prowess and the passing ability of an Alexander Arnold who can bend balls in and play balls over the top for you, you're going to get more service. That has gone, so that adds a bigger pressure on Mo Salah to perform with a Conor Bradley, who's a good player, but he isn't Trent Alexander-Arnold, and Dominic Szoboszlai, who's gone back there, or indeed Jeremy Frimpong, who I don't think they've worked out, is he a right winger yet, or a right wing back, or a right back, but that's another story. Going back to Slot, I think when he comes in off the back of Jurgen Klopp, that's a difficult pair of shoes to fill. And he did a great job, but there was less to tinker with. There was less decisions had to be made. How do I get a bit of Ryan Gravenberch? How do I get a bit of this? How do I get a bit of that? But within reason, that 11 was on the field most weeks, certainly early in the season. Now he has more many more decisions than he had last year.
So obviously Frimpong injured in this game, so he's not going to be available at the weekend against Brentford. We've seen Florian Wirtz in this game. He had a couple of assists as well, Craig. Yeah. How does this team change this weekend against Brentford?
Well, look, I thought the ideal time to get him back in was maybe not Chelsea away, which he didn't, but it was Man United at home, which he didn't. And Brentford away, it's going to be more physical, it's going to be long balls, they're going to sit in. They're going to sit in and defend a little deeper, and then when they do win it, they're going to try and hit that ball over the top like they did against Manchester United to some success. But when the team sits in, like I think Brentford will, you need somebody that can pick those little holes. But the ball he played for Gakpo across was, I can't resist it sometimes.
I'm loving it.
I love using the word nerd. Just gets them going. Some, those people sat there. But, the ball he played for Gakpo across, he can do that with his eyes closed. So, yeah, at some point, you're going to want to get Florian Wirtz into your team, into form, with a continuous run of games to build up his confidence. And the sooner they do that, I think, the better.
Look, I'm in no position to say that Florian Wirtz is struggling with confidence. But certainly, given the performance against Leverkusen, the 2 assists, you've got to keep him on the park. You want to get the best version of Florian Wirtz. Frankfurt, excuse me, you want to get the best version of Florian Wirtz performing for Liverpool. And you kind of saw, after he came off the bench against Liverpool, that little turn flick that played Mo Salah and really should have done better. But that's the Florian Wirtz that and that Liverpool thought they were buying. So you want to keep him in this momentum of playing well, of being creative, of being that player. And as a result, Arne Slot has to play him against Brentford. Whether Brentford style suits Florian Wirtz or not, you've got to get him on the park in this moment, kind of give him the form that he's shown over recent weeks. Even in some of the more disappointing results, I think his performances have slowly gotten better.
Let me stick with you, Shaq, because Arne Slot was also talking about the form and fitness of Alexander Isak and how it's been disrupted this summer at a smaller club. He said you cannot compare maybe a player who hasn't trained or played in pre-season at a smaller club than if you go to Liverpool. Well, this is what Eddie Howe has responded with.
I think the setup here is very good. It's not perfect, we've got things to improve and to grow, but the owners here have developed the facilities since I've been here very, very well, and I know there's you can see there's building work going on currently to hopefully help us deliver even better in the future, but I've got no complaints. We've got elite athletes here, many of them, and touch wood, we're managing them pretty well at the moment.
Shaka, is Arne Slot blaming Liverpool for Isak's form and fitness?
No, credit Eddie Howe for not taking the bait. First of all, Alexander Isak didn't have a pre-season with Newcastle United. So in talking about having a pre-season at a smaller club, it doesn't apply certainly this season to Alexander Isak because he chose to stay away and train on his own. So I think the first part of Arne Slot's comments is geared towards Alexander Isak, and we all say it all the time. You can train as much as you like. That cannot replicate games. Pre-season games cannot replicate Premier League games when they run around, when it truly matters. Alexander Isak had neither. And as a result, it's kind of struggled. But at the same time, Alexander Isak has got this kind of injury history to him. In 3 years at Newcastle, he missed 38 games through injuries. That's almost an entire league season. So that speaks to maybe his frailty. And while it's gotten better with each season, he does spend a lot of time on the sidelines. And of course, not having a pre-season hasn't helped that, hasn't helped his form. And that, especially given Mo Salah's own struggles, has been a huge problem for Arne Slot in Liverpool.
Well, if there was an issue, which there was, with Alexander Isak's pre-season, which was well documented, or lack of pre-season, why is Arne Slot playing him? I could understand playing him if you didn't have Ekitike. You didn't have a striker and you wanted to get him in the side and you don't really have much choice. But he's not in that situation. He's got two number 9s. One a little bit more versatile than the other. I think Ekitike is a little bit more versatile. But he's got 2 guys that can play that position. And he's talking about his pre-season wasn't ideal, and yet he's put him in early season in the 2 biggest games. Doesn't make sense. Almost feels like he felt pressured to get him in the team. And not only is that detrimental to Isak's confidence, it's detrimental to the mindset now of Ekitike, who's, and this happens as a player. If you go on the field and you play like how he has played for your new club, and then somebody comes in, playing in your position for big money, is not fit but goes straight into the team and doesn't perform and then goes back in the team the following big game, you're in the dressing room and you go home, you go, what the hell? What do I need to do? So you then cause an issue with two players, one lacking confidence and one now pretty upset with the manager, who he might not say it, and he hasn't said anything, hasn't come out and said, you know, I think if it was me, I'd be going, knocking the manager's door down, try to play. So that's why I go back to some of Arne Slot's decisions with the new players, where he's played them and moving Szoboszlai to right back and all that, and he's done okay. These kind of things with Wirtz and Ekitike and Szoboszlai, they're just little cracks that are appearing in his decision making that he didn't have to make last year because he didn't have the amount of squad, he didn't have these big signings. So I go back to it, within reason, if everybody was fit, he could pretty much put the same group of players on the field, which was to their detriment the longer the season went on, because I think some of those players got tired because there wasn't the rotation. Now he has the players for the rotation, but he's struggling to find the right balance within the first 11. And that, I think, is where we're going to find out about Arne Slot, particularly with the pressure on, with Arsenal winning and with City winning. And Liverpool can ill afford at the weekend to drop any more points.
Yeah. Well, let's get your predictions, because we asked all of you. We even called Stevie to get his prediction for the weekend, and everybody's gone for 2-1 for Liverpool.
Well, when you watch a game with Stevie and Mo Salah's having a good game, it's something to behold. When you're watching a game with Stevie and Mo Salah's having a bad game, it's off the Richter scale.
Leave the room, basically.